Hey, what's up? I'm Ashley. Thank you for watching this video. And today we're going to be talking about American Horror Stories, Season 2, Episode 3. And let's get started. So this episode is titled Drive, and it stars Bella Thorne, and we see Bella Thorne's character Marcy and her best friend Piper in the club having a good time, and they both end up noticing this guy, but Marcy calls dibs first because she says that she saw him first. So Marcy and this guy get to dancing on the dance floor, and then they take it back to her car where they start hooking up. And afterwards is when the guy was like, so now I know you want my number and you want to know when you can see me next. Being real cocky with it, talking about all girls are the same. But Marcy said, get out my car. So now after that situation, we see Marcy driving down the street, minding her own business until this red Jeep starts following her. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? So the red Jeep is flashing its lights at her and even rammed into the back of her car. I said, oh, Jesus, call 911. Drive to the nearest police station. But no, where did she drive to? The car wash. Who drives to the car wash in the middle of the night in the a.m.? It had to be about 2 or 3 a.m. She just left the club. So she put up to this car wash and she's waiting for him to drive on in. She waiting for him. So she's looking at him, but he's not looking at her because he don't see her. And I'm thinking that was a close call and a stupid one. She almost got. So she gets home, and that's when we find out that she's married and they have an open relationship. And her husband, Chaz, is telling her that he's scared for her. And she's like, you don't have to be scared for me. And they get into a small argument about being happy in the relationship or not. And they both agree that they are. So now here is where we see a key moment. And we probably didn't even notice that it was a key moment. At the time, I did it. It took me a little bit. While Marcy is washing off her makeup, we see that she has this big birthmark on her face. I believe it's called a port wine stain birthmark, and it's caused by swollen blood vessels. And her husband is telling her, I wish you didn't cover this. It's beautiful. But she don't think so, and we're going to find out her issue with it in a minute. So now her best friend Piper is telling her that she's scared for her too, because Marcy ended up telling her about last night when she got chased down by that Jeep. So Piper started telling her about this urban legend when this woman was driving home late from work one night and this van started following her and it cut her head off. Piper did end up reading her this article where this 22-year-old woman ended up missing after partying at a nightclub, but Marcy's like, yeah, like she's not buying it. She don't care. She says she's still going out. And that's insane because that would sit me down real quick. But Piper is just being a good friend. She's worried about her. She's telling her, stop hooking up with these random guys. Marcy didn't hook up with any random guy, but she hooked up with a random girl. And right after the act, she got caught by Piper. Piper was hot. She was like, are you a sex addict? Are you trying to make up for high school? And Marcy's like, I'm just out here trying to have fun. So they get into this argument, and Piper's just trying to let her know that she's tired of being ditched. And she knows that she's just using her to pull skanks and creeps and bang them in their car. She tired of that. She tired of being used. Piper calls her a disgusting freak and walks away. That didn't bust Marcy's bubble. She walked right back into that club and tried to pull her something until she saw her husband standing over there. She said, what are you doing here? And her husband tried to play it off like, oh, I didn't know you was going to be here tonight. She was like, stop lying. You knew I was going to be here, so either you're going to leave or I am. And he walked away like a little punk. So after she's done at the club, she's walking outside awkwardly, and she sees this same red Jeep that was following her the other night. But then she runs to get back inside of her car because she saw someone walking up to the Jeep. So she's spying on this guy and she starts following him. And I'm like, cool. This is crazy. Why would you do that? She's trying to get so close to the car that she remembers his license plate, and she ends up losing the guy when the guy pulls over because he knows that he's being followed. So when she gets back home the next morning, she's looking up his license plate. And at the same time, her husband walks in talking about he can't do this anymore. He told her that he wanted to be number one, but it's clear that he's not, and that he's thinking about getting himself his own apartment. Marcy didn't even fight him on this. She just continued to look up his license plate, and she found out that this guy's name is Paul, and she found out where he works. And she pulled on up. She pulled up to his job. She had a stakeout waited until she saw him in there working. And she walked up in there acting like she wanted to buy some knives. And I'm thinking, this too much. Just call 911. You get what you got coming to you. So when she gets in there, the guy is giving crazy vibes. He looks psycho. He started talking about how he has these same set of knives at home and she could use it to cut her boyfriend. And she said, I don't have a boyfriend, I have a husband. And he said, it'll still work the same. First of all, corporate manager over there, give me corporate's number. He said he go cut up my husband. Larry H. Parker, where you at? But she just stood there and walked out. Girl, please, girl, first of all, you had enough guts to pull on up to the job. And then you just gonna stand there when he say something like that? Okay. And then I said, hold up, what's going on? Because that same night, she went to the man's house, looking through the windows, and then she went inside. And when she got inside, she saw that he had a bunch of articles on his wall of missing people. The people missing. So she's up in there creeping, and when she hears him get out of the shower, she starts hiding underneath the table. And after he gets dressed and walks out of the room, she hears what seems to be the sound of a door closing. And I said, yeah, the door closes, but he didn't walk out of it. And he didn't. He tricked her. He was waiting for her at the door with a weapon. But Marcy did seem nervous at first. She was looking like, uh-oh, what I'm gonna do? But the guy was like, hold up, I remember you from the store earlier. The guy's name is Paul. I didn't mention it earlier, but his name is Paul. So Paul's like, what are you doing here? Why are you in my house? So Marcy says, you were the guy that was following me home that night. He was like, that was you? I was trying to warn you. I saw somebody in your back seat, and I'm like, uh-oh, I gotta chase her down and let her know somebody in her back seat. He called the police, but didn't have much to give them because he didn't have a license plate. Then Marcy's like, well, you have one imagination because as you can see, I'm standing right here. And then she starts to thank him, and she's like, not a lot of people would do this in today's world. Then she goes in like she's about to kiss him, but ends up shooting him up with a needle instead. It's a tranquilizer, but he still had a little energy to choke her up for just a little bit until her husband walked in, hitting him upside the head, and he passed out. Luckily for Marcy, her husband was following her again. She's like, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm scared for you. He said, I told you to start using a stronger dosage. This isn't strong enough anymore. I said, what? So they get back home and Chaz tells her that he's moving out. He can't do it no more. I'm tired of him saying I can't do it no more. So she walks away and we see her enter this room where she got Paul tied up and gagged. And here is when we find out just how crazy she is and why she got this man tied up. We find out that she's the serial killer and she goes after people who seem to be the type that teased her for her birthmark in high school. And she described these people as winners and top of the food chain. After that, she tortures him, cuts off some of his fingers, and then eventually kills him. Before she kills him, she did tell him that she knows that there was someone in the back of her car because she put him there. And he almost got her caught up. She meets these people at nightclubs, hooks up with them, tranquilizes them, brings them home, kills them, and puts them in the cellar. After she got done with Paul, her husband said, you're going to have to start putting people in the backyard. The cellar getting full. Marcy tells him that she wants to start doing this together because usually she would be the killer and he would be the one putting them in the cellar. But she's like, nah, I want to kill them together. So they're both crazy. And he's like, well, how can I say no? So Marcy's like, I have the perfect person to start off with. And it turns out to be her best friend, Piper. And that turned into be R.I.P. Piper. I guess since Marcy was already mad at Piper, she said that's the easy one. Because Piper was like, are you trying to make up for high school? I wonder if Piper knows that she's been getting teased and made fun of in high school. I don't know. But Marcy took that to heart and her husband sliced up Piper. I thought this episode was really good. How about y'all? Season 2 is turning out to be a lot better than season 1. But y'all let me know what y'all think. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.